Hey guys, it's CB3 here. Due to an upload error in the first video that I posted, I am actually reposting these videos in a 4-part series, so look out for all 4 videos for how not to be a noob in Clash Royale. They should all be posted about the same time, and I've cut out the intro for that so that this will be the new intro. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Basically, I wanted to just kind of give you guys some tips that I know a lot of people don't understand in the gameplay. I think a lot of times you just want to get in there and just throw cards down and, throw cards in the back or throw cards at the bridge. You don't really have a strategy for how to play. So I'm going to try to help you guys out a little bit. So going into number 9, um, basically, I want you guys to allow yourself to figure out what the other player is doing. So don't be overly aggressive at the beginning. When you guys are getting started, I want honestly sit back and relax and allow the other player to kind of play cards first, if that's a possibility. Now, don't wait until 1 minute left and you have a fast cycle deck and they're using a golem deck and then you just gave them double elixir. But um, don't play super aggressive. If you play a hog and a goblin barrel and a bandit at the bridge and you're doing all this stuff and all they have to do is just hit you with a skeleton army and you don't have enough elixir to zap it, you just spent 8 elixir and they only spent 3. So you're losing 5 elixir on the very first turn. Now trying to recover from that is almost impossible. So that's just my suggestion: is start off a little slow, figure out what your opponent has, and then you can start attacking and what their weak points are. Moving on, number 10, play cards in the back. At least in the beginning, most of your cards need to be played in the back. Not all of them. There are cards that are specifically made to be played at the bridge, like the Hog Rider, the Battle Ram. Some of those cards should be played at the bridge, but a lot of cards should be played in the back. I'd say 8 times out of 10, you want to play something in the back. If you have a Musketeer or a Witch or a ranged unit, you want to be able to play those in the back. I love my first starting play. I love to split archers behind my King Tower, which is the main big tower. I love putting them in the back, or I put Mega Minion on the far back corner, so all the way in the far right or all the way in the far left, depending on where you want to start. It doesn't really matter as long as you're playing either into your opponent or away from your opponent if that's what you want to do strategy-wise. A lot of times, if I see someone play something in the back and they play it on one side or the other, so let's say they play it on my left side, with this deck, I usually start with a Royal Giant and then just go right into put a Royal Giant and then put some bats on the left of it or something and get kind of an opposite side attack, so that they have to kind of respond to that and they can't do what they were just planning on doing. So try to mess some people up. Play cards in the back. Don't play aggressive, and then that'll kind of help some of your starts. All right, moving on to number 11. If things are already going to die, don't waste elixir on them. I think this is such a simple point, but I think people don't know how much health certain things have, and they just continue to um, continue to lay spells down or lay cards down that don't need to be laid down. There's so many times I've seen people will um, they'll zap a skeleton army, but the skeleton army only has 4 skeletons left. If it has 4 skeletons left, just count how many arrows the Princess Tower shoots and how rapidly she shoots them. Your tower will take those 4 skeletons out before they can reach your bridge. Same with like half health goblins or 5% health left on a giant or something like that. You don't have to play anything. A lot of times the best play is no play. And that could be a step in and of itself. But I'm just saying, let things die that should die. Once they cross over, it's really easy. Okay, you don't have to play anything. It's so easy, and you can save your elixir, plan for your next push, and put some strategy into it. Number 12, don't play cards into something that counters it. This is also something that is very simple, but also people do this all the time. There are so many times I'll see people, they have a P.E.K.K.A that's coming straight at them, and they decide to drop a Mega Knight right on top of it, or drop a small unit that gets easily squashed right in front of it. Mega Knight on P.E.K.K.A is going to lose 9 times out of 10 unless it's on the other side and you have something else helping the Mega Knight out. Okay, P.E.K.K.A is a hard slashing unit. That's not the only thing, but like let's say you're playing a skeleton army right on top of like a magic archer or a wizard or something that has splash or like a Valkyrie. I've seen so many times people put a skeleton army around a Mega Knight right before he's about to jump, so then he jumps right on top of everything. I just smacked the mic. He jumps right on top of it, and all your skeletons go away in one thing. Okay, don't play bats um, right in front of an air unit. So don't play it right in front of a wizard or a magic archer unless you're using it purely as a counter to take it away. It's gonna die immediately, and then you lose all your elixir you just put into whatever you just played down. So don't play things into things that easily counter. So if you have a splash, don't play small units. If you have something that cuts really hard like a P.E.K.K.A., don't be playing a large giant right into it, because then it's just going to get chopped down and you won't even get any use out of it. Okay, so that's number 12. Moving on to number 13, this kind of goes into that. Don't play multiple groups of cards that get countered by one thing. There are types of decks out there that are called like log bait or zap bait or fireball bait, which basically means your goal is to try to bait out one of their spells that, and then you can play other cards that don't get killed by that same, or that get killed by the same spell. Basically, if you are using let's say Princess and a Goblin Barrel and Goblin Gang and Skeleton Army, that's called a log bait deck. So all those cards get killed by log. But once you use one and their log gets used, there's nothing else that they can do. So, like, let's say I put a Princess at the bridge and they log it. Then right after that, I want to play a Goblin Gang. Okay, because then after that, then they don't have a log to just easily counter it, so they have to use something else. But I see a lot of times, there's so many times people will put a Princess, they'll throw a Goblin Barrel, and they'll put Goblin Gang in the lane and start attacking. All it takes is one log to take out, what is that, 6, 8, 9 elixir. 9 elixir for 2. Okay, so they just gained a 7 elixir lead on you. There's a lot of times I also see people play a skeleton army and then play bats right on top of it. Okay, when you're playing a skeleton army on the ground and bats up top, zap comes down, you just wasted 5 elixir. Okay, so try to play cards away from each other. A lot of times, if I'm scared that they're going to zap all my stuff, I put skeleton army in the middle of the field on my side, and then I'll put bats back behind. And so then those two things are separate, so they have to choose. Hey, do I zap this or do I zap that? That's what you want to do. Don't place things on top of one another. Don't place things in a line that can get killed all by the same thing. Poison is another one where if you play Skeleton Army and Bats and Goblin Gang all in one area, all you have to do is just put a little poison circle on you, and all that goes away. For they spent 4 elixir and you just spent 9. Okay, so just be aware of when you're playing stuff that all gets killed by the same thing. Okay, it's okay to play them in succession, but they need to be played on different sides, away from each other, and in tactical ways that don't get killed quickly. Okay. All right, moving on. Number 14. Watch how much elixir you're using to attack and defend. A lot of times I see people get overly aggressive on offense, and also overly aggressive on defense is a bad thing. When you're going in and you want to attack someone, don't spend all 10 elixir on one attack unless you know for sure it's going to work. Okay. Once you put all that elixir into that attack, it takes a long time to recharge unless you're in double or triple elixir. So make sure you're spending elixir wisely and watching kind of how much you're spending and watching how much your opponent is spending. If your opponent is spending only 2 or 3 elixir into defense, and you just keep playing cards, and you spend up to 15 elixir on one attack, guess how much elixir that they've stored up on their side. Okay, they have 10 to 12 elixir that's ready to go. So just be careful when you're doing those large attacks or large defenses. You don't need to spend 15 elixir on one defense. Okay, once you spend 3 or 4 elixir, be done. Okay, just allow that defense to do its thing. Allow the towers to do it. If your tower goes down and you spent that much elixir and you can't spend much more, don't waste the elixir again on trying to kill those things. Allow yourself to recoup. Let your towers retarget onto things, and things will start working itself out. Now, if you're getting screwed, sorry, can't help you. But just gotta have to lay everything you can in there. But still try to remain calm and stay tactical. And that'll kind of get into one of my future points that I'll talk about in just a little bit. But Moving on to number 15, allow troops to cross the bridge before placing your own. Okay? Now it takes a few steps once they hit the bridge. If you have a knight crossing over, they have to walk on the bridge and then they have to cross that red rectangle that shows up on your side of the screen when you're placing units. Okay, so look for that red rectangle as a guide and start figuring out when they cross the bridge. Okay, I've seen so many times someone tries to counter a wizard and the wizard's still standing on the opponent's side or on the bridge. It's not on your side. If it's not on your side, your tower cannot attack, which makes your defense way worse. If you have a lot of people that are if you have a lot of troops that are all attacking the same thing and they're not getting hurt by the tower, you're making it a one-on-one battle. This especially is hard when you're facing over-leveled opponents. When you're facing over-leveled opponents, there's a lot of times where you need the Princess Tower's help to be able to take it down. If you're a level 10 card and you're facing a level 13 card, you need as much help as you can get. So get everything you can to defend on your side, even if you have to leak a little bit of elixir, which means you sitting at 10. Okay, if you have to sit at 10 for about half a second to a second, just so that they get on your side, use that, just a little bit, or place cards in the back. It doesn't have to be all the way in the back. It can be behind your princess tower, in the middle of the field, on the side. There's so many opportunities that you can use to not leak and also allow that card to get all the way onto your side. So play that tactically. Allow troops to cross the bridge before you attack. Number 16, defend with troops and buildings away from the princess tower. Okay, so there are a lot of cards that cause splash. Just to name a few, there's Baby Dragon, there's Valkyrie, there's Witch, there's Wizard, there's Magic Archer. Make sure you you're not placing cards that line up or are right next to your Princess Tower if you're trying to avoid splash damage. Magic Archer has become very prevalent recently, and he shoots in a straight line through units, and the Firecracker will do much of the same. It's going to shoot and hit a unit and then spread behind. So if you don't want your Princess Tower to get hit while your units are getting attacked, place your cards away from your tower. I'm going to show some examples of that on the YouTube video, but for right now, I just want to let you guys know that if you place a card right on it, a wizard will hit your card and do every damage it's doing to your unit to the tower, and then some, because then he'll attack your tower as well. Okay, so play that smart, and make sure you keep your cards away from your Princess Tower.